Newkirk Precinct.
All right. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Newkirk Precinct, the blue Protoss player, EG's Oz. And down in the bottom left, his opponent. I'm going to let these guys build a little bit. The Red Terran, representing CM Storm, it is Polt. One thing's for sure, Kev. This crowd loves Thundersticks.
And Polt.
And Polt. And Oz and StarCraft 2.
Oh, God. You know, but...
At least they're not chanting hamburgers.
Or baseball. All right, guys. All right.
So we got the in-base gateway going down here for Oz, which is, of course, completely normal. Polt right now saving up a lot of money as if he wants to go command center first.
Yep, I'm pretty damn sure he wants to. And I think this is something we're going to see from him at least once or twice. Well, this is the first time, so yeah, probably once. But at least once more. But Polt's also a player who really switches it up. It's impossible to predict how he is going to open. Sometimes he opens up with multiple Reapers. Sometimes it's just a single Reaper. Sometimes he likes to open up with quick Widow Mines. And sometimes he goes command center first. And I really think that's what, sets him apart is a big word, but makes him so hard to play against in this matchup. He is not predictable.
No, not at all, man. And I think that's what really characterizes these high-level Korean players. They mix it up so often.
Yeah, Jaedong as well in his Zerg vs. Protoss these days. He switches it up all the time, and it makes it so much harder to play against. And even the Chinese players, okay, we are known for 2-base attacks, then we're going to fake it, or we're going to go into 3 bases suddenly. It just makes it all so much stronger in the game. It's just getting harder and harder to really understand sometimes how these players are thinking. But it's so much fun to follow them.
This command center finishing up on the low ground.
I like what Oz is doing as well, Ben. He realized what was going on. He tried to be annoying with this probe. And he's doing a reasonable job. Of course, Polt is losing a little bit of mining time. But above all, he's like, all right, I don't need my Cyber Core as soon as possible. I don't need to mine gas yet. I just want to get my Nexus ASAP because, hey, your economy is going to be really good. So mine better be damn good as well.
And behind this, we have the very normal 2 racks follow-up for Polt. Still hasn't taken any gases yet. He is sitting back and taking his time, establishing that early game economy and just getting ready for whatever his later mid-game plans happen to be.
One of the cool things we saw from Polt against in his round of 16 matches is that he had sort of this late game 2 line of goals. That was so cool because often you see Terran players, then a couple of EMPs, and I was like, alright, I want to force the fight, I'm going to go for it right now. But Polt had like this backup where Protoss players hide their High Templars for a little bit. Polt was hiding a second wave of goals, and that really allowed him to crush Protoss once or twice in a big fight where normally he would have to eat some storms. I think this is going to be a late game micro war where both players, it's just going to come down to that dance, man.
Did you see that?
What did I see then?
When the Marine killed the probe, he went flying off the edge.
I did not see that.
It was a terrible death.
You don't know? You know that's this new movie where you're going to kind of float up in space?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Newkirk Precinct is so high up you can't even see the ground.
And we spoke about that. That must be a terrible death.
I still think it would be a very peaceful death.
I'm not sure.
There's no better way to go out than...
Just look on Earth.
Exactly. Looking down on all of humanity, ever.
So a command center going down for Polt as well. We see the first forge already going down for us. So he's getting a forge even before his robotics facility went. I find that a little bit surprising. Of course, getting upgrades is awesome. I wonder if he's going to go straight into Colossus, maybe 1 or 2 and then into 3 bases. Or if we're going to see him switch it up. We saw against Ryong as well. He's not afraid to do a 2-base push, just to mix it up a little bit. If this Mothership Core spouts this command center, that would be a really nice early scout for us. Even though he might be able to piece it together already. Yes, he is going to see it.
And even if not, seeing that racks building, seeing these later gases, he should have a good feel.
Exactly.
Certainly anyway.
Confirmation is good. He's going to have to pay attention to this Stalker, and he does. Not sit in time.
Stalker's going to get picked off, so Polt multitasking a little bit better than Oz right now. We'll lose a single Marine, but he's going to be ultimately very happy with that exchange, just retreating back into the bunker.
Stalkers are expensive units. We often underestimate how expensive they really are. We can see Oz dropping the robotic facility in his natural. Kind of surprising, because, if there is once a stim squad, which is kind of intimidating, he can just focus down the robo and get out of there again. Another place you normally build such an important building, but
Mothership Core is kind of trapped. He might have to recall back home.
Well, I guess he... I know, maybe he enjoys... Maybe he's looking for the probe.
I know, I sent him over here somewhere.
Last I know is that he said hello to this dog. Twilight Cancer going down, and the third Nexus as well.
Wow.
Once more, this ridiculously quick third Nexus for us. Around the 7-minute mark. He's on one gate, one robo. Scan goes down for Polt. Of course, he doesn't see all that much. He does see the robo, so that's something.
How's the
Actually
timing
sees
on
the
that
Twilight
robo
as well, so
looking
that's
to
pretty
you,
good.
Kev? That's like an 8-minute robo.
No, the robo was a lot quicker. It was around 6 minutes, but the Nexus was in 7 minutes. This is such a ridiculous build by Oz, and he did this against Ryong, and I just couldn't believe that he was able to get away with it. And I do feel that Oz, Ryong focused the wrong things during the fight. We'll see how Polt is going to react to this as soon as he identifies what he's playing against, because right now he has no idea.
Well, in spite of the fact that Polt doesn't realize that Oz has that third Nexus, we've already pointed out that he does have his own third command center, so...
Yep.
Economically, we're going to continue to have a fairly even game. 47 SCVs to 50 probes.
Wow, that Mothership Core sneak by
Yeah,
the
managed to get out of there. Might even be able to harass the probes a little bit. If nothing else, gets one more final excellent scout of the main base before retreating back home.
It really helps him a bit, gives him a good feel of when those medevacs are going to be on the field and when he really has to worry about drops. He's going to go Blink first, so Blink is of course very good defensively, sniping those medevacs. Not very good in the straight up fight, but he has a Colossus to rely on DPS for the straight up engagement.
Now, one thing we learned from watching Oz play previously is that Photon Overcharge is phenomenal for holding pushes like the one we're seeing here out of Polt.
Yep.
And in light of that
Polt has to be careful,
that
by
lesson,
the way.
yeah, I think he should be very careful. He does not want to overextend here and lose units.
Stim is almost ready, but there's no way that he wants to stim in. There are a couple of force shields. There will be Guardian Shield, a Photon Overcharge. Would be terrible to throw away all those bio units for almost absolutely nothing. Both players right now on 55 workers. That's of course a reasonable scenario for Polt, but the fact that Oz is already mining off 3 bases, that's a luxury you normally don't have as a Protoss player this phase in the game.
First Colossus also out. Thermal Lance on the way. Blink being researched, interestingly enough, before charge.
Yep, it's just going to help a little bit in defending. I guess having this base as well makes it a little bit easier. You don't want to take this base if you start researching Blink, so you can just Blink up and down this high ground, makes his life a little easier. We see turrets going down for Polt, so it's going to be harder for observers to really figure out what is going on.
A couple stalkers working on this scouting factory, but oh dear,
Blink
is not going to be ready in time, and both these stalkers will go down. So
that's 3 stalkers already,
Yeah.
and that might not seem like a pretty big deal, but I think it really is a big deal, because that forces him to warp in these stalkers. Otherwise, soon he's going to have Blink, but not a single stalker out on the map. Obviously not very useful then.
Nope, certainly not.
Cannot transfer Blink into your Zealots. Would be cool, but... Or your
Well,
Colossus.
maybe if it's a Husky StarCraft game. Have you seen any of his recent casts?
Yes, then it's
Where
probably
everything has Blink.
Army supply is pretty damn even. Polt is of course going to look for an opening. It's all going to come down to how well will Oz position his units. He saved these stalkers, but now these units probably will go into the main base, man.
It's a very real possibility.
I think
These
Polt
two
is checking
medevacs.
for observers. There's no observer, but he will find a pylon.
I guess he's just going to back
Oh,
out of it.
Colossus!
Oh, he's a very brave Colossi. They're going to roast a couple of Marines, and Polt not wanting to
Wow.
to overextend is going to leave a few men behind.
You know, sometimes you got to take a sacrifice, man.
That's rough. Sorry, bro. No room for you. Seat's taken.
That's why you want to rush into things.
As Polt speeds away. 118 supply for Polt, about 130 supply for Oz, and as soon as I say it, Polt goes up to 130 supply. Macroing very hard right now. Working on his own 2-2.
Oz is still on 1 forge, but I can totally understand that because he worried about production because he was playing so economically that he also needed a lot of production facilities. I'm sure he's going to add his 2nd forge soon, and while I was starting that sentence, he dropped that 2nd forge.
Yep.
And also the Templar Archives. This is a big drop by Polt, and we saw in the previous games he was able to do a lot of damage with drops like this.
See this? He does not. He has no vision of it.
Oh, the hallucinated Phoenix. Yes.
Does it see it? It
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
it, but he's not reacting to it at all. So Oz not recognizing that this drop is en route, in spite of the fact that the Phoenix
Oh my
should
God.
have spotted it, and there is really nothing back at home. Mothership Core is there, but that's not going to help against this many units. Big drop here out of Polt, and this Nexus might go down.
He's going to have to pull the probes away. Now actually Polt is just going to focus the Nexus immediately, and this Nexus will go down. Nice pick off here for Polt.
And not just the Nexus, also some
Oh my
valuable
God, the
tech.
Templar Archives.
Templar Archives is going to go down. Could the Forges go down as well? One of them's going to fall. That second Forge is researching +2. It's going to go down as well. Big plays out of Polt. Leaves one more man behind, but it's a price he gladly pays.
tried to put on multi-prong attacks, but Oz left enough units behind to at least defend against that little hit squad. But that drop was, of course, completely worth it. Took out both forges, took out the Templar Archives. What a successful drop for Polt. And Oz, he was so close to catching it, but he didn't identify it in the end. I don't think he's realizing, Ben, that he's not mining yet from this simulator.
Yeah, he was also so close to finishing +2 armor, Kev. Now he's going to be against 2-2 bio with just 1-1 Protoss. And that is...
He did kill a lot of units. He's going to try to see if he can do something with that.
But Polt's maxed out, man. 190 supply for this Terran. That's 130 army supply. And he's already got a reasonable number of Vikings. I don't think that Oz wants to attack into this right now. He should probably just sit back and reestablish his economy. But he hasn't rebuilt his Nexus.
This push is still going to be scary, though. Polt's going to need good Viking control, and we know that he has it. And, of course, the upgrades are going to be in his favor. But if he loses all the Vikings, Ben...
And Vikings are taking a lot of damage very quickly. One Colossus falls, but that's all that Polt's going to get. And he now only has a single Viking remaining, so this push is, in fact, going to be very scary. What was once a maxed-out Terran is now a 170 supply Terran against a 170 supply Protoss.
He has 8 medevacs. He's going to start dropping here once more. Okay, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but what about this army on the other side of the map?
I don't know if he can answer for it, Kev. Oz is going to start pushing on Polt's third base. Polt's playing very methodically, staying very patient. Cancels that building command center. Might even sack this one here in the third. He's going to try to repair for the time being. Here comes Oz. Zealots charging forward, trying to kill some of those SCVs, but man, this is just not the angle he wants to engage from. And the bio doing a great job of thinning out Oz's army. Meanwhile, the drop.
Oh, the Colossus!
Huge force fields. Colossi are going to take a ton of damage, but will not die. Those are excellent force fields. But still, Kevin, I think Oz is losing too much.
There's so much production for Polt. He's just reinforcing over and over again. He still has units in the main base as well. Polt will clean this up and will win game number 1.